Yeah, starting talking about family. Well, I was doing some reflection on Steubenville. I'm one of these nerds that's in like all of these Facebook groups devoting ourselves to our hometown, specifically the hometown of my hometown, and some of y'all's or Jens's hometown of Steubenville. The great Steubenville, Ohio, the hometown that we share. And one thing, it's easy to wax romantic and nostalgic about Steubenville, and I often do. Of course, it's easier to do that when you haven't been there in a long time, I notice. Whereas when you're there, it takes about 2 weeks or so to really start getting tired of the place again and kind of find yourself back and hating it again all over, just like I did when I was getting ready to graduate high school and get the fuck out. But, no, shoot, one thing I kind of cherish about Steubenville, one thing I cherish now, I think, that I definitely did not before, is how they treated my mom. How y'all treated my mom, I should say. And I say that because, I don't know, shoot, I've just been reflecting about my mom, and mind you, she's doing all right. I mean, Taiwan is safe for now, I think. I want to come back to mom a little bit because one thing I really cherish about my hometown, one thing that I really feel, I guess I appreciated it back then, but I appreciate a lot more now, is how wonderfully my mom was treated by the people of Steubenville. And remember, Steubenville, Ohio is filled of, we were like the only Asian people there, maybe except for it's like us and then maybe like 2 other Asian families in that town. Not even, maybe 5, okay? If you include Wintersville. But my mom, I have to say, I've been kind of admiring my mom for little things that I think I failed to appreciate. And one thing I feel really bad about, and one thing I always feel kind of guilty about. I swear to God, every time I talk about it, I start crying because I was a douchebag to my mom, man. I was kind of a little shit to her. And I say that specifically because I used to ridicule my mom a lot for being stupid, for not being intelligent, curious about the world, and that was kind of my vibe with her when I was growing up. And I feel really shitty because I don't know how much of that was my own feeling. It was frustrating. It was frustrating, and I say that because it was frustrating because as a kid, me and my dad would geek out on stuff. We'd play video games together. We would watch. My dad got me into sci-fi. We would watch Star Trek: The Next Generation together. We were just big. We reveled in being big nerds together. In a way, my dad was kind of like a big brother in regards of growing up playing video games together. He actually introduced me to video games. He's the one. My dad is the one who got the Atari system that kind of started the whole ball rolling, and then we got the Nintendo. Believe it or not, it was my dad who kind of introduced me to that, to the gateway drug of video games, and all of the unhealthy addictions and habits that go with that, especially nowadays. But my mom, my mom and I did not share as many of those types of things in common in terms of hobbies, passions, and interests. Really, my mom was very much an enigma to me. It was hard to have special moments together, I guess. There weren't as many bonding moments. There were, but they weren't in the same way. They weren't the same as the ones that I had with me and my dad. And obviously as a kid, that was a wall between us a little bit. And it was always frustrating. One of the big frustrations I always had, and I probably still have today, is trying to teach my mom how to use a computer. And I was passionate about computers when I was a kid. My mom couldn't give a shit less about computers. In fact, she still probably can't. Even though she uses them all the time and doesn't really realize it, I think. No, but that was always a big source of tension between me and her. And the reason, because as a kid, I always wanted her to learn. And I just think that's funny. That's ironic for the kid to want to try to teach the parent how to do something, because that's something you don't hear about very often. Obviously it's usually the parents that pass down, that are believed to pass knowledge down to their kids. And it was frustrating, man. It was frustrating teaching my mom how to do anything. And that's not because of her. It's not because of stubbornness or anything. It's just because she literally had trouble. She was learning so much when she came here. I mean, my mom was not. My mom spoke English, but it wasn't her second language, obviously, or it wasn't her first language, obviously. And I can't help but think like what it might have been like for her moving to the U.S. where nobody around her speaks her language, and she just had to like pick up English. Like, and mind you, she knew English a little bit when she lived in Taiwan. I don't really know how, but she learned enough English to kind of, I guess, impress my dad. And that's kind of how they met and where they met and everything. Oh, here's a picture. I love this picture of my mom. While we're doing my little tribute to mom, I love that picture of her. And I don't know why, but like the way I have it framed and everything, it kind of reminds me of like I was telling her, it kind of reminds me of like those pictures of Mao in China, like where everybody has like the same picture of Mao, like just kind of like Mao Zedong, like sort of just like it has a bad. We gotta turn the light on here. Well, then again, if we do, that kind of violates Facebook After Dark, doesn't it? Oh shit, you guys can see her. And I have a picture of this somewhere. I have that same picture of her, elsewhere in Facebook land. So, I love that picture. That's actually, I think I've said this before, but that's her at the age of 36, which is the age I'm at now. Oh God, that's so weird. I know it's like, fuck, I know, that's so weird. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I mean, like my mom, like came from Taiwan to the United States, didn't know very much English, or well, shoot. I mean, she had to pick it up, and like I just compare that a lot with with when I lived in Montreal, and like just failed so hard at picking up French. Now, mind you, those are two different situations. Montreal is a bilingual city, so it's easy to get lazy and like slip right back into English. And that's kind of part of the problem there of why I never really learned French adequately, at least adequately enough for Hydro-Quebec to hire me. And so, yeah, that's something I never took enough time to really like admire my mom for, was how she adapted to this weird country of ours. And not only like did she adapt to like the United States just as a general notion, but Steubenville, Ohio, of all places. Like, I think often when immigrants come to the United States, they usually find like some cool city, some cool big sexy city to settle in, and then within that city they find a little diaspora of people, like of similar people. Like you see us everywhere all the time. Like in Columbus, for instance. I mean, Columbus has that whole like, has a whole diaspora of oh my gosh, blanking out now on the Eastern African peoples, Somalians, yeah. And like they all hang out. Like it's fascinating actually, just to kind of like look around your respective city, and kind of just like, when you sort of discover like what, of course, New York City has pretty well known places like Chinatown, Koreatown, and then of course you have like then they have the gays, which, mind you, that's I can't really count the gays really, because that's a whole different. I mean, that's not like an ethnic or these aren't. I mean, the gays aren't people. Not for the most part. I wouldn't say are people that like. Well, actually, let me think about this for a second, because I guess a lot of gays had escaped smaller towns, perhaps that were dangerous places to live, I guess. And so, I mean, yeah, I guess they would have kind of a similar story to like our modern, what our immigrants went through. Mind you, they were kind of domestic. They're mostly domestic, sort of domestic in-house immigrants, I guess. Migrants, I should say. Migrating from a small town to a big city. Nonetheless, though, my mom did not have that. My mom lived in Steubenville, Ohio. And she, like I said, we were the only Asian people there. And man, like I really, when I look back, I remember like how lonely it must have been for her, not having other Chinese people to talk to, not having other Taiwanese people to talk to, not having that sense of community around where she kind of based her identity. And like, damn it, my mom never like even talked about it. Like, it was never even something that as a kid I never picked up on. I definitely picked up on the fact that like my mom kind of did her own thing. She didn't have like a lot of friends, and she didn't hang out with all the other like women around town. She wasn't in any of those like women's posses. But she did have friends. Like she did like she did make friends there, and she made like very few but very valued friends. There was I remember like Norma Jean or goddamn it, Norma Jean. I keep wanting to say DiCarlo, but that's her maiden name. She's a lot of the DiCarlo family. Like our friend, we were friends with, and then there were these Italian ladies like these on my street, and like my mom learned how to make like legit, really legit, like tomato sauce, like pasta sauce, like the best pasta sauce you can imagine, like the pasta sauce you'd imagine from like a home, from Italy, from kind of like that Italian grandmother, like, hand crushing the tomatoes and making the sauce out of that shit, like that type of tomato sauce, like made with love. And my mom like just learned how, my mom made great Italian food. Like, I think it's sort of a testament to Steubenville, Ohio, that my mom made such amazing Italian food as a Taiwanese immigrant. And that just kind of goes to show how wonderful my hometown was at accepting my mother. And shit. I was not going to get teary-eyed at this, I promise you. But like, damn it, like I hear all the, it's easy to sort of like just kind of write off Steubenville, I think. It's, as a podunk town, as sort of like an ignorant whatever the fuck. But really, God damn it, they were full of some of the nicest, kindest people. At least as my mother was concerned, And I guess now when I look back on that, I really cherish that, man. And like, it's especially the individuals that went out of their way to make my mom feel at home, Especially when like I wasn't. Especially when I as a kid kind of shunned my mother. Because as a kid I just wanted to be like everybody else. So that meant sort of pretending, well, I never would like disavow my mother, but like, I don't know. I just remember feeling like the weirdo with the immigrant mom. And like, shit. That's unfortunate that I looked at her that way back then. But like, when I really look back at it now, obviously, I really appreciate her a lot more for, God damn it, she did stuff, she took risks and took leaps that I would never do at this time, And like, damn it, like she didn't have, maybe it's just that she didn't know any better. No, I doubt it, because that's kind of what I always used to assume. Damn it, like I admire that so much. Especially like at that age. It's not like she like learned English growing up. She learned English, at her in her middle ages, in her 30s and stuff, which I just find like remarkable. And I was reflecting on this because my mom has been in Taiwan, has lived in Taiwan since 2003. All right, she has not been to the States here since 2003. That was my junior year of high school. All right, and it amazes me. I think one of the most remarkable things about her is that her English is still so fucking perfect. Like, and I'm pretty sure, I must be the only person that she talks to in English at all anymore. And that's on the phone for maybe like, I don't know, maybe once a week. Like, sometimes I've gone like months without talking to her. Sometimes I've gone years without talking to her on the phone. And yet, her English is perfect. She's able to understand my English, like this shit, this blabbering, fast talking bullshit. Like, she's able to understand me. And damn it, like that's incredible, I think. And thank the fuck God also. Like, I'm thankful obviously for that, because I can't even imagine that would be terrible if I couldn't speak to my own mother. If we had that language barrier, I couldn't even imagine such a scenario. I guess I already feel kind of distant from like her, that side of the family, just because they don't speak that much English and I don't speak much Mandarin. But like, I don't think enough credit is given to my mother. At least I've never given enough credit to her for that. And and damn it, I really love, like, I love everybody. Like, all of you out there who treated my mother with kindness, respect, and love, I love you guys. Like, because you guys really, And you know who you are. It really, like when I look back on that all, it really means a lot to me, especially knowing how much of a shit son I was. But yeah, I just want to say that's kind of what I wanted to reflect on a bit, because my mom, like, is incredible. Like, just the journey she's been through, and just, the fact that she never even got a high school education until she moved to the States, and until like maybe like 5 to 8 years after she moved to the States. I mean, my mom like earned her GED at the same time that I was maybe like, I think maybe when I was finishing elementary school, like when I was 10 or something. And like, God damn it, I was so condescending to her. Like, I just remember thinking, like, my God, my mom only has a high school education. I just remember thinking as a kid that my mom was stupid, And I just, like, I really regret that. And, like, damn it, she's such a smart woman, and man, I do not give her enough credit for it. Ugh. Anyways, but you guys did. Like, a lot of you guys really did. You guys saw something in my mom that I failed to see, and damn it, I really cherish, like, all the random women, like, God damn it, you know who you are. Like, I'm just thinking of, like, Norma Jean and the God damn it, the Tiberios on my street. God damn it. And thank you to the Tiberios, too, because that explains why my mom made such killer tomato sauce. I have y'all to thank for that. And also why to toot my own horn, why I make some killer, pasta sauce as well. Well, shoot, I can't take, I don't know, maybe. I do. I make good spaghetti sauce. Almost as good as mom's. But, anyways, that had to be said, because I do not give enough praise to that woman, to my mother. And she put up with a lot of crap from me and my dad. My God, how lonely she must have felt sometimes, like, in her shoes, like, in Steubenville, Ohio, as a Taiwanese immigrant. Like, fuck.